Evening, folks, and welcome back to the channel. Just getting everything in the right place. I've got YouTube open, of course. It didn't want to give me the chat room at first, so I just hopped over to another show that's live. Mahler's live right now. I wasn't watching that show, but I hopped over there to prove a point that the chat room works. And then I go over to my page, and then it gives me the option to let it pop out. It's done that before. YouTube doesn't know how to YouTube. I tricked it into thinking that's what that is, rather than just close down the page again. I made it prove my point. It's just being stingy. So that's okay. Since I use the live chat from my own live show on YouTube, since if you use the one from Streamlabs, it does this reverso bizarro thing with the color on everybody. I don't know why it does that inversion, but it's held to recognize the names but not the avatars. So I fixed that. What's up to King 40 and Lisa Gray and Dandy over on YouTube? And then what's up to We Owe You Bill Cooper over on Twitch? How's it going? I tell you, I really would have watched well, it was a two-parter. I would have watched that today. I planned on it. I don't know, something there in the first couple of hours I was awake. I just didn't feel right, just anxiety for no reason. Then I just started to get that dull. Whenever I get a headache, it's like one of those cluster headaches around my left eye. Started to low key get that, and I thought, oh hell no! It's what did I do? What is it? What's off? What? How did I get into the situation? And I'm sort of realizing it was probably just a bunch of little things. It's not just one thing's fault. It's just with it being, it was warmer yesterday. I didn't eat as much. I probably should have eaten a little bit more. Probably should have drank a little bit more water. And just the fact that it's a little bit warmer today, and it's I do have to do my own show. I don't smoke before. Worst case scenario, I was going to smoke out on the balcony to get rid of the headache, but it's too hot to lay in a heating pad, so I took some pain pills. Plus, when it's that time of the month, you'll just get extra random pain for absolutely no reason. It's just that. So it's a few little things that just kind of set it off. So I'm like, if I concentrate on myself, I had fun yesterday. I want to watch it back. But I don't want to get halfway in, then my head starts hurting worse. I'm like, I can catch up tomorrow. It'll be fine. It was fun to go through. I just really only had that two little glitches in that first part. Other than that, it wasn't bad. And then I went back and checked. The last time I had technical difficulties like that was February. So it's been a minute, so that's not so bad. I just hate when it happens. It's inconvenient for folks to click around. Plus, like myself, I don't know if people watch the whole, both parts, because anytime I do a two-parter, one part always gets more views than the other part. So it's like, okay, which one was better? Was I better in part one or part two? But yeah, like Dandy says, there's another steamy night. Folks were up. They were setting off fireworks. It sounded like professional fireworks. Like past 11. I thought they wrapped that stuff up at 10:30, but there they were out there. So that just means you hear screaming outside. And it sort of made me think of, since I do write, I haven't done it in a while. We owe you, Bill Cooper. Yeah, extra random pain. Yikes. Yeah, it sucks being a woman. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. I was thinking, because all of these, like fireworks sounds are just normal, like loud pops to me, but ever so often there are these booms, and I don't know what they're setting off. I don't know if that's what a cannon sounds like. And then there's extra screaming afterwards. So my first thought, maybe I just watched too much, crime dramas, was, oh, okay, a big boom and screaming. Oh no, somebody got shot. But then I'm thinking, okay, let's take it out of the real world. Let's not be so morbid about it, since I am a writer. Okay, what if you were to write, say there's a serial killer who they only go out and do their killing when people are in big crowds looking at fireworks because you got those booms going off so nobody can find where the shots are coming from, and that's how they manage to get away from it. And then so it's like when do they set off fireworks though? Like 4th of July. I don't know what other holiday they set them off for. So like, okay, here's this guy planning his whole year to like go around shooting people just on the 4th of July because he's some psycho killer. Um, and just expand on that. You can make it as dark or as oh, and they caught the guy. Oh, and to this day he was never. Just something to like a thought experiment, maybe short story, thing to write out. Or if say that would be like a good premise for one of those crime drama shows, like, oh no, everybody's at this festival, fireworks, and suddenly stretchers and blood, and the Law and Order theme starts. Oh, one to go to. Glad you made it. Dandy, tons of fireworks here as well. Yeah, from what I understand, I've never confirmed it, but there are some car dealerships sort of as you're heading out of town. So what I've sort of been told, what I kind of understand to be true, is that, like there's professional, fireworks displays going off, in parking lots, so nothing's going to catch fire. Um, and then, you get the grand finale and it's super loud. And where I was, I tried to look out the window. I could kind of see the edge of some fireworks, but then it's like, my eyes are tired from doing my show. Do I really want to get dressed just to walk out and look outside? It's just not worth it. And then it got me to thinking about what happens. I would never go to one of these because instead of doing fireworks, people will like they'll put on shows like light shows in the sky with drones. Immediately that sounds boring as fuck because where are the booms? Where are the explosions? If the drones don't blow up, then what's the point? I'm here for the explosions. Pardon me. If there's no boom, then why show up? That sounds dumb as hell. You can shine a flashlight or a laser pointer. It's just stupid. But I'm glad that, like folks are fun. If you want to set off your fireworks safely, go ahead and do that. Don't be setting off the fireworks in the house or anything stupid like that. It's explosions are cool. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt. Jenna, glad you made it. So I'm glad I really didn't sort of have anything solid planned for this because I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't have been able to think about it all day. And so if I would have had something planned to say, I would have been really stuck now. So it's a good thing I didn't plan anything. I can just wing it. And then thinking back, yeah, maybe I didn't drink enough water yesterday. I'll do better the next couple days. Oh, Jenna said, sorry I dipped out last night. The neighbors put on a great display last night. That's cool. Yeah, check it out. That's awesome. I like the pretty colors and everything. And then it's like, I don't know, do I want to film this so I can watch it on my phone later? Like, what if I'm just filming it with my eyes closed like the eclipse because my eyes were tired? It's just too much effort to get up. I've seen them before. At least I hope those are. Well, I assume that they're professional fireworks because I don't immediately hear like fire truck sirens afterwards. So I assume everything just goes to plan when they do that. I know something that pissed me off. It's I want to bring it up today. I got a little bit distracted yesterday, and it didn't even ended up being a half or 2 hours. It's like something like an hour and 56 minutes, but I didn't want to go too far past 9 o'clock. Oh, Jenna, she said I made a hummingbird water fountain and a feeder. No birds yet. Oh, I remember the last time I saw a hummingbird. Oh shit, yeah. Lisa's saying it's always too light here for the fourth fireworks shows. That sucks. When does it get dark again? Oh God, that would mess me up so bad. Lisa Gray shared a video in Frank's Discord. It's up in Alaska for the 4th of July. I assume it's in the same place because as I was watching this, I noticed how safe it was. It's like there's this huge cliff up there, and they run these cars off of it, and like they just fly down into this gorge, and just bam, like either most of them hit the rocks. One of them went so far and hit the water, but I was looking for them like they're not hitting trees as they're going down, are they? That's not cool by me, but they don't. Everything just hits the rocks or hits the water, and the people are so far back, they're not going to get hit by anything. Everybody's clapping, they're filming it. At one point, the General Lee goes over, and then a cop car follows them. It was so cool. I would go to see that. That is awesome. That sounds like one of those Minecraft horror mods where it's just light all the time, because some of them it's dark all the time. Sometimes, depending on what creature shows up, they might turn at daytime for a while, then it goes back to night, or they might turn at night for a while, then it goes back to day. That's what Alaska is. It's like a horror Minecraft ARG with, yeah. Wheelie Bill Cooper, I would go to see that too. Hell's yeah. I know it's like like daytime. There's no shade or anything. I can stay. Oh, hat. You're on the right place. You're Nikki M. Carlin. It's just too hot to wear it. But I would just wear my bigger hat and film it. That'd be fun. Cause nothing blows up. It just crashes. But then you get to see all the car parts. That's fun. Dandy saying to Jenna, birds love water features. Jenna says, I found a YouTube channel and she makes all kinds of stuff for birds, saying that to Dandy. There's this cute video, I've only ever seen it on Tumblr, where this fella notices a frog hanging out on his fence. And he has a 3D printer, so he builds it a little house. And then everybody's like, hey, maybe he wants a pool with that house. So he rebuilds it, so it's got a little pool. Then he knows he has friends over, so he's building it bigger and more elaborate. And then there's tadpoles, and then like it becomes this whole thing just sitting up on top of his fence for all these. It's like frogs and some other critter came by. It was not a possum, but it was pregnant. Then she had her babies, and like they're all getting along. Lisa, yeah, bonus if the cars hit the water. I was surprised because the last car to go over, it's one of these little tiny racing cars with no hood, so of course it flies farther. That one hit splash, and woo, a crowd of people. Hell, yeah. I wonder how long that is. That like an hour, or how long does that go on for? Is there food? Are there tickets? Do you just have to like show up, or like know a guy who knows a guy? Or is it like, it's not private property, is it? Like you have to, there's some rancher dude like, hey, can we drive these cars off your lot? Like, is there a parking fee? Well, what's the parking situation like? Like, we can park by these rocks, right? Wait a minute. But yeah, that this whole thing on YouTube with this top fans thing, and if you want a way to turn it off, let me know. I'll give you the steps. It's kind of a bullshit term on its face, because if you're a fan of something, that's it. It being a fan covers any level of fandom, whether you're a casual fan, whether you're an Uber fan. Then you have stans. That's a little bit different. You have to be a really hardcore fan to consider yourself a stan. You're not necessarily a psycho like the guy from the song, but if you want to go so far and call yourself like a stan for a band or a TV show or whatever it is, go ahead. You're allowed to. But there's no like top stan. There's no top fan. There's only fans. But once you're a fan, that's it. Like that for me, my thinking is once you're a Frankly, that's it. There's no hierarchy of Franklys. You're either, well, there is a hierarchy, but not when it comes to Franklys, at least in my mind. It's like if you're a Frankly, that's just it. You just are. If you want to lord it over people, you can say how long you've been a Frankly, but that's more, to me, that's more of something to like congratulate somebody about, like, wow, you've been a fan for this long. That's so cool. I'm glad you found, whether it's a year, whether it's 10 years, whatever it is, it's all awesome. And as far as hierarchy goes, there's all of us who are just chatting, quite frankly's chat room. Then you have people who have been guests on the show. Like if you have had your name on the title of a quite frankly episode, that's different. You're kind of above the rest of us. You might not even be a frankly or just a guest. That's okay. You can be both. You can be one or the other. But like they're above us, and then you've got Frank. But it's if you're a fan, that's all there is to it. That there's nobody's better at being a fan than somebody else, because you do get that a lot in fandoms. Because I'm into Dark Shadows, so I'm sure there are people who have been there since day one, 59 years ago, who might want to lord it over people who have not been fans as long. But that just makes you a dick. It doesn't matter when you got into something, it just matters how much you like it. You can have just found a show or a band you like, and maybe you know everything about it. Maybe you managed to find out more about it than somebody who's been a fan of that band their whole life. That the time you've been there doesn't matter. Your passion does. So I'm against that on principle. I'm against it because it drains your battery. It's a distraction. I know why they do what they want to, say, encourage people to super chat more or talk more so they engage more. But that's a cheap way of getting interactions. You're supposed to just be entertaining enough to get your super chats and your commenting and stuff like that. It's kind of AI-ish. It's like having bots comment in your chat rooms just so your chat count is higher for that episode. That's cheating. Jenna said, I don't like the crowns next to my name. You can get rid of them. Uh, oh, it didn't paste. Hold on. You go to your avatar, you use your avatar, then settings is the gear. And on mobile, you scroll down a little bit too. There's like this secondary section that has live chat in it. Whereas if you do it on PC, it's your avatar, then the gear for settings, then privacy, and then live chat. And then you can switch that option off. Jenna said it's more fitting for King 40, LOL. Yeah, see that just takes all of the shine, and like if everybody is super, nobody is super. So if everybody has a crown, nobody has a crown. It becomes meaningless. And again, there is no such thing as a top fan. You either are a fan, you could like something casually, and that's fine, and not even consider yourself a fan. That's okay. But yeah, I'm completely against that. Like I don't have the heart reaction emojis, even though that would count for high or something on my channel. I'm against that. I'm against hurting you guys' eyes. What's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it. Yeah, see, he's fine. Um, so yeah, that's just a cheap way to get interactions from people just casually watching on their phone. I'm not for that. Instead of that, why don't you run a poll that can count everybody's option when I was doing movie polls? Can't do that. Have it so when I click on a video, it doesn't change the size of the box so I can X out of it quicker. Or stop doing this. This just causes eye strain. Do you notice here in the last month or so, if you click, there's like regular videos and it's got the time, but a song will have the time, but then it has this little music note emoji by it. It's an emoji, unnecessary. It just causes eye strain. Does not need to be there. I saw that shit pop up on the first, and I thought, I don't want super chats on my channel. I don't care. When I get to, if and when I can get to 500 subs, and it's like 3,000 views in a year or something like that. I don't know if they force it on you and like suddenly it's just there and you can't turn it off. But I would switch that shit off and just keep my super chat links up. Super chat links up. The way I've got it now, because I'm not trying to pay Google 30%. Oh, Jenna, yeah, you're welcome. Great. She said, thanks. I turned it off on my PC. Sweet. Lisa said that hokey crown messes up my crooked halo. Right? Yeah. How do you lean it? Do you lean it forward, backward? Which side? Does one side mean gay and one side mean straight? Will you, Bill Cooper? OG Franklies are interesting. IMHO. They are because there are so few OG Franklies. And the reason Franklies are Franklies is because people were not being fake with each other. They were just being real with each other, no matter how harsh that came off. So that's why they have personalities and are just different from one another. There are people that come in and they're fake as hell and they try to you can just tell when somebody's not being sincere and like sometimes they hang around, sometimes they kind of drift away, but folks who are genuine, not trying to put on airs or be something that they're not, those are the folks that usually end up staying, that you do get to see in the chat room for years and years on end, and they've got cool personalities and good stories and they're like interesting to like. There's people who I have maybe never spoken to or rarely spoken to, but I do read most of the chat room. So like I'll just be reading their stories, or like say two people are having a conversation that's got nothing to do with you, and you're just reading it and they're going into it and their history and medical stuff, and then and then this happened to my uncle and then my niece, and you're like, damn, really? And that's how I fixed my washer. And you're like, I just got this whole second side story here while I was listening to Quite Frankly, and I'm typing in the chat room like, holy shit. It's like three shows in one. Dennis said what happened to his last producer. I don't know who his current producer is. Um it seems like they had a falling out, but I don't know when. And I'm glad of it because I don't care for that person or anybody they hung out with. Um So with that in mind, the only person I could really ask about it is somebody who was friends with that person. So I don't trust anybody that they were friends with. So I'm sure I'll just get lies coming out at me. Oh, Krista's cool, yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about somebody else. Just a good riddance to bad rubbish and karma on them and all their friends. There's a reason why they and yeah, there's a reason why we don't see them regularly in the Quite Frankly chat room. Birds of a feather, they just flock somewhere else. Yeah, Krista doesn't seem to be anything like the last guy. She's cool. Dennis said he was bad for business for Frank. Yeah, it's the thing where it's always people older than me, and this was like 5 years ago, give or take. Folks acting up, acting like like we're in the sandbox or something, to just throwing their temper tantrums, and it's like you're like 30 what, pushing 40, and I'm can't believe that I'm having to deal with this from Gen Xers and stuff like that. But, okay, eh, Jenna said I refuse to say his name. Yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah, it's this happens a lot. This is what I see happen a lot with YouTubers. Mostly guys, it happens with women too, where on YouTube, you'll have somebody with a successful channel, or like they probably don't have millions and billions of subscribers, but like they're on a good pace to like gaining more. They're on the grind, but then they get a girlfriend who like she like starts to she either wants to be on camera or start making decisions for him, or she's just wrecking his life off of camera. So suddenly this dude who's like uploading every week is just uploading every month. and then and then it falls apart that way. So like here's this guy who, quite frankly, if you go to the chat rooms, we know you from the time you spend in the chat room. It doesn't matter how many times you've been on the show. It kind of doesn't even matter if you're Frank. I mean, people do talk to Frank in the chat room, but like on the whole, if we don't see you in that room, we don't know you. We can see you on the screen. That's different. We need to see you typing. We need to see your words. We need to see your reactions to stuff for a whole show. You can't just come in and say hello every day and expect us to know who you are. That it doesn't work that way. And as far as the chat room goes, oh Zora, what's up? Yeah, it's not her. Um, we know each other from talking to one another, and you can watch us talk, and that's fine, but we have to talk with you to get to know you. So people who were working for Frank behind the scenes, who we do not know, because in the chat room we don't know who works for Frank, but we know Frank, we know Krista, we know his wife works for him a bit. We don't talk about that. So if you're working behind the scenes for Frank, great. I'm happy he needs that, but don't expect that to translate to recognition in a chat room that you've spent no time in. But people think that they should be given some kind of recognition for never speaking to us. It doesn't work like that in a chat room anywhere. I don't care who you are. You have to actually physically be in there doing stuff for it to count. You can be doing Frank's taxes and running all of his blood work and putting a new foundation on his house, and that's fine. The chat room doesn't know that, so you're nobody to us. So if you, but I don't know, like just this expectation. But so okay, you're doing behind the scenes work for Frank. You get into the chat room and you find out quickly you're not even you're almost spoken over because you're not the most popular person there. And then within a month you're pitching a fit about it in Discord. And I'm not talking about me. I've never been the most important popular person in the chat room, but my friend was. So here's this producer guy jealous of my friend who like we're all just people, and then you want to come down on somebody, we don't even really know who you are, and you're attacking my friend. So right there you made an enemy for life, and I'm not going to be sad when I hear of your passing. It means nothing. It's you. I don't care who. You can know all of Frank's family. You can know everybody with Frank's last name. But when you come to the chat room, you're nobody unless you put the time in. That's how it is. That's why I can go. I can have all the clout in the world in the quite frankly chat room, but I go to another chat room. It's day one, and you certainly don't want to be in there talking about, well, I'm a moderator for this channel. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck what you do in another room. No. So, B-Chat, glad you made it. So it's like every single individual chat room you have to put the time and effort into. You don't just, as much as I watch Gray Still Plays and I love his channel, if he were to start doing live shows, it would be like starting from day one, because I've never been to one of his live shows. So it would just be like starting with a blank slate, like it's day one when I first found, quite frankly, at on Ustream, Zadal's in New York. So it would be like starting from scratch. That is just how it is. You have to actually put the work in for the recognition. And people, as they get older, some people don't realize that because they've had too much handed to them. And that's when the problems start. So it doesn't matter, like you can know all of Frank's moderators, let's say. Oh, okay, that's fine. But you don't know the people in the chat rooms. So don't think, hey, I know one person. It's like, one person is one person. You don't know everybody else. That's a whole other thing. Jenna said, I'll join the chat, and if I connect with someone, that's great. If not, that's okay too. It depends on the room because every room is a different vibe. Like these Minecrafters, it's all a different younger generation, so the screen goes by too fast. Plus, they're uploading it, one area, like going live at midnight. Would have nodded out already. So it's different versus like going to all those different chat rooms that the Zells were on last year when they were doing interviews. Every single room is the same. Like the J is for Justice room is different from the Miss Shorty room. Uh, that's all I can think of. But it completely different vibe, and you don't know, what people are gonna acknowledge what you say. You don't know if they're like clicky and they're just going to talk, around you. You don't know if it's full of bots. You don't know if it's full of trolls. You just don't know. It's kind of the fun of it, but you are really starting from scratch and you have to be okay with that. It's hard to start from scratch. It's harder to tell. Like, it's hard to do as you get older. But one day it happens, and then you just kind of get used to it. So you get your life taken away from you, and you have to start scrambling to make a new life. So it kind of, maybe I can get with new things more easily than I would have if I wasn't messed up from my friend dying. I don't know, but you have to, you can't get lazy or complacent with chat rooms because they're always evolving. Dandy, a lot of the chat rooms I go into have a lot of crossovers from Frank's. Oh, cool. I see John Rogers all over the place. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, that guy watches stuff on like Pilled sometimes. I don't know about Pilled. um, or like if you go to Jim Lee, you're gonna see Frank Lee's there. But on the whole, his chat room is very much stays on topic. It's very hard for me to get it away from the weather so I can get a liner at two in there. So I haven't been there in a while. Jim Lee seems busy. I swear he's like, I know he works and he has a family and he does a lot of stuff. Seems like he only goes live like once every few months. John Rogers says, yeah, Dandy, I'm in a lot of chat rooms. I just have a tough time reading them. Jenna says, I dig Crow 777 and I go to his live. Crow with two R's. Does he spell it that way? That's cute. Speaking of crossovers, since I've sort of brought this channel up before, that they do pretty good work. The Lore Lodge, I guess they're in Pennsylvania, so it's really not that far. But one thing this guy did back in December, they did maybe a 5-parter about JonBenet Ramsey. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know what information they have in there. I want to hop into the comments to mention the Zells to them, since if they care enough to do a 5-parter episode about the murder, I sort of get the feeling they might be interested in a bit more information if they don't know about the Zells already. But Frank mentioned this fella, is it David Politis? I know I've got the last name right. I'm not sure about the first name. But Frank mentioned that guy sometime this week, something about like getting him on the show or something along those lines. And he's brought him up before, just in passing. Every maybe once a year, you hear the name come up. But I kind of really don't know who that is. Well, I wouldn't know who that is if I didn't watch the Lore Lodge sometimes. And that's somebody who, the guy who runs the show, who he's always wearing a cross. His name is Aiden, that guy. He's talking about, he used to be like a Politis stan, and then he started researching the books and found out, maybe he's not 100% accurate on everything, and now he just kind of, like, he likes the guy, but he'll admit when he's wrong. So the fact those two worlds just kind of barely skim each other, I wonder if, like, wouldn't it be wild if that guy was also a Frank Lee? I don't know, because he had the opportunity to say quite frankly in a video and he didn't. So maybe they're not. So it's just interesting when you see things, because they don't do politics really at all. They mostly cover missing person cases, And then they're the ones who say, murder takes place in, Pennsylvania. Apparently, a lot of people go like missing and are found dead in Pennsylvania. But what this guy will do is he'll go like back way, way far to like the 1600s and tell you about like the Indian tribes that were living there at that time. And at first, it kind of doesn't make sense, but then he explains it away in such a way that it sort of ties into the story. I like that he does that because, like, initially, I'll be honest, on the whole, I don't go looking up history videos about Native Americans. I just don't like it. Like, it is interesting, but I've never sat and looked that stuff up. I'm glad they're still around. Like, we should write down all their oral histories and all that kind of a thing, but it's not necessarily what I'm just into at this time. It is interesting. It's just not my thing at this moment. But the fact that he brings it into that story and sort of makes me care about the history of the Native Americans and want to learn more about them, I like that he can do that. Like, he makes me care and makes me want to learn more about a topic that I'm just about. But apparently that pisses people off because you watch so many of those videos and you just get used to the setup. It's like, okay, like intro, history about Native Americans, and then like the stuff about the actual missing person, and it all ties together. But then he's like, okay, now this is the part where I'm going to get into the history of the Native Americans. So I've put chapters in this video so you can skip over this if you're one of those people that I didn't know people skipped over that part, but apparently people are not into that. They just straight up skip over that part of the video. Like, damn, okay, he's just trying to be educational. Holy shit, give the guy a chance. But I watch those. I like those. It doesn't take long for him to talk about it. It's not like you're watching an hour-long video and 40 minutes of it is about the Native Americans and the last 20 minutes is about the actual case. It's not like that at all. But I guess folks just don't have the patience for it. What the man does is research. I like the fact that he can make me care about something I'm just on the fence about. Jenna said, yeah, that's the proper spelling, Crrow. It makes me think of Crow from Mystery Science Theater 2000. John Rogers said, I'm either on YouTube, DLive, or Rumble. Nice. Jenna said, that's why I love the Y files. I swear those guys have popped up for me before. That sounds familiar. But as far as making me care about something, oh man, this is maybe like a year ago, sometime in the last couple of years. You just, like sort of clicking on random videos. And something came up where this fella had sat down and watched every single one of Elvis's videos, or movies, sorry, YouTube brain. But he watched all of Elvis's movies, Elvis Presley, and he was just going to talk about him. And I have brought up Elvis sort of recently. Yeah, the guy could sing, but he kind of seems overhyped and just, well, never mind what he did when he was off the stage for this. Like, on the whole, I really don't care. I've never sat down and watched an Elvis movie. I'm not that on about him. I've never wanted to, like, fuck the guy. Just was never my thing. But it's like maybe an hour and a half long video. And I'm thinking, like worst case scenario, I don't like what this man has to say. I can click off the video. It's not gonna hurt anything. If I get bored, I can leave. So I'm like, okay, I'll give him a shot. I'll give him a shot. Let me see how this goes. Maybe I learned something. Maybe I learned nothing. Who knows? So I click on this video, and that's what this guy did. He's talking about just like kind of a little bit of an intro, talking about how Elvis kind of got started and got recognized, and then he starts getting movie offers and it like clips and everything, and it's like, okay, here's his first film, and you could tell like he's young, he's still learning how to like move his body in proportion to he'll like put his arm in front of his face and not like look making. He's still learning the camera, like his stage presence. You can tell. But you can tell he really wants to act, and he learned his lines and all this stuff, and he's doing his best work. And, whatever. It is what I don't know Elvis's film career. You can tell. And then as the movies go on, it's like you can tell he's still trying to do his work, and but then he's getting older, and the films are just not as good, and you can just see just his eyes. He's just saying the lines. He's barely looking at the other actor. He's just not with it. And the guy who's put the video together is just explaining, well, at this point in his career, this is what his, music was doing. This album had come out, and just maybe his personal life, and just explaining what was going on behind the scenes. And then like that's why in this movie he looks so checked out, because in real life what was going on. So, but he went through the man's whole film career, like last movie's a wreck, and talking about how well it did and all this stuff. Long story short, I don't know when it happened in that video. It made me care about that man's career. Like, I was not clicking off that video for nothing. Like, I want to see where this goes next. Because I'm not the Elvis historian. I don't know what he was doing where and what, and like performing this at this time. None of that, things like that. But the fact that that video was so good and it actually made me care about the topic, I like when that can happen. William Bill Cooper said that is a great talent when you can keep someone's attention on topic that can be made dull easily. That too, yeah, because I do click on a lot of videos where like cool thumbnail, good intro. You get to the 10-minute mark and it's like, what did I click on? Is this the same? Is this the same video? This is the same video? Nah, I'm done. I can't. Oh, the guy on Y-Files is AJ. King 40 said, Leonardo Johnny has done a video discounting Indians being native, and Stone Age Europeans are the real indigenous to this continent. All right. I can see that. Oh, King 40 loves Elvis. All right, that's cool. John Rogers said, I'm getting tired of the AI produced videos on YouTube. Same. It's called YouTube, meaning a human. So if you're using AI on YouTube, you should be immediately displatformed. So you are, not only are you demonetized, but we're just deleting every single one of your videos with AI in it. And if you use it again, you're banned from the platform. Yeah, I refuse. I won't click on that. That's like I was saying in that my one video not too long ago. There should be something in the thumbnail in the corner, but like put a little red dot. Do what you got to do, just so you know either the thumbnail, a portion of the video, or there's clips shown in the video, or audio used that is AI. Because I'm not trying to watch if I don't want to watch my computer do a thing. I don't understand the point of that. I have watched a couple of these videos where these people have lost their channels because they switched to AI content, and they should lose everything for that. You're not going to put in any effort. You shouldn't be getting any money. Dandy said my one karaoke attempt was Elvis Burning Love. I kicked ass. Nice. Yeah, Jenna said I'd be mortified if I sang in public. Oh no, there's no way. I'd sooner do a face reveal. John Rogers says the video is distinct for AI, a lot of repeating the same thing. Yeah, it's very poor quality, repetitive. Lisa Gray says you're brave, Dandy. I'm too self-conscious and can't carry a tune. Unless nobody's listening. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we plug this in. Please don't freeze. You did that yesterday. I've got to aim the fan at the charger. Yeah, I mean, like I sing by myself all the time. If I'm in the car, I'm always playing music, and it's usually got lyrics, so I'm singing along. Even if it's just like the 8-bit stuff from Mayhem. Well, it doesn't have lyrics, but I'll still sing along. Sometimes I go so far as to find it, like, say, just like a piano version of a song, and then I'll sing over it. Like, I'm good at this song, and then I'm singing it without any help. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not as good at this as I thought. I need to practice more. That's how you learn. And I'm by myself, so I'm not hurting anyone. Jenna said I sang one in the car with my daughter, and she told me to shut up, LMAO. I'm gonna stop this car right now. Danny said it was a small bar and only my friends were there. My one friend had a karaoke business, lol. Oh, John Rogers, the one I found today was about the downfall of Western Auto. Oh, damn. Jenna said, no, the spiders run if I sing alone. Just like, see, no, see, you could start a business. Exterminator. That's it. Just sing and just scare away all the bugs. Like, all right, that'll be 350. King 40 said, remember, music, like everything, is subjective. Yeah. B2, Beach Chap, yeah, me too, LOL, yeah. I'm real pissed off about this. I didn't say it yesterday, but it happened yesterday. Grace still plays upload. It's let me start with my initial feeling. Okay, Grace still plays upload. Universe Sandbox. I love Universe Sandbox. There was a time when he was uploading that a lot, and it was so great to have a frustrating day at work and just come home and watch Gray blow up the universe. But what he does now when he uploads Grand Theft, or sorry, Universe Sandbox videos is he'll leave the grid system on, and then he'll focus in on a planet. So you just see like these grids going by very fast. It hurts the eye. I don't know why he's been doing that the last few. Like he played the game a lot, took a hiatus from it. Now that he's come back, he'll leave the grid on. It's very irritating. I think I say something in every video. Stop doing that. But I didn't get that far into this video. This was a Friday video. It was Universe Sandbox. And so I was excited about that because I really only have to worry about the 80s music and the Grand Theft Auto videos. And it gets so far in. It's not even a long video. It's not even 20 minutes. It's 18, 13. It's kind of short for a Gray Still Plays Universe Sandbox video. But I think I got about 5 minutes in. And right as Gray's about to start, like fucking with the planet, he's like, wait a minute. Let's see if something like, well, let's see if Chat GPT can do a worse job than I can or something. I forget exactly the words that he said because I was done with the video that day. I'll go back to that another time. I went to the comment section. I said, no, don't ask Chat GPT. He did say, quite frankly, in that video. I'll finish it up later. Then he uploaded today, and it was like 5:30, so I didn't get to watch it. But that's Grand Theft Auto. It's not AI still plays. It's Gray still plays. And while yes, you wouldn't know this if you weren't a member to his channel, but if you are subscribed for the membership videos, a lot of them do feature him playing around with AI. And everybody's parents do things that they don't like. But I don't want to see that bleed over into the everybody else videos. That's not cool. Don't do that. If you're screwing around and doing something extra in your membership videos, that's one thing. Because not everybody sees those. But the ones everybody else sees, like, oh, Bill Cooper said, I listen to music every day, every single day. That is awesome. I wish I did that. There was a time, yeah, Mayhem dropped. I was listening to How Bad Do You Want Me every day, and now I really just play music when I'm in the car on Wednesdays. Dandy said, we had a Western Auto store in downtown Norwalk when I was a kid, saying to John Rogers. Yeah, I'm thinking like we had Western Auto, didn't we? Maybe that's why we don't have one. Oops. Beach app, yeah. YouTube videos made using artificial intelligence could be classified as spam or misleading content. When you do set up a live show, it does make you like check a box saying whether you have do you feature any content that makes a person like say something they didn't say. A few other stipulations are basically asking if there's AI in the video, and you click yes or no. But that's what it is. It is misleading content. It's spam. It's not a human. It's just a computer program. It's just a computer. I'm not a computer. I don't talk to my computer. That's why we use the GUI, the graphic user interface. I don't know the coding. So I'm not Gen X. I'm not that good with computers. John Rogers says to Dandy, John Rogers is saying, when I moved up here, we didn't have one. Then they built one. Now it's Pet Supplies Plus on 250. Oh yeah, that's right. That's kind of coming back to me now. Oh, that's what that was. Okay, yeah, I know where that is. Dandy said to John Rogers, "Oh yeah, they said LOL. They never had anything worth looking at for a kid. Yeah, yeah. I don't need this shit." Oh yeah, we owe you Bill Cooper. Yeah, you can call in right now. It's in the description of the show, but it's oh yeah 419-359-8869 um 359. It mentioned calling in on Thursday when I was in Frank's chat room. Yeah, he mentioned that then. Oh, that's what it was. This is why I should never run off my memory, because Frank had brought up stuff that was going to be happening at the meetup in September. And well, he did mention before there was going to be food there. He was talking about there's going to be chefs outside, and then like people can talk to them so you can like find out exactly what's in the food, and you'll possibly go home and make it yourself. I don't cook. I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm just there for the food. But talking to chefs outside implies daytime, and that made me realize Frank hasn't mentioned a time when this starts on Saturday. I just don't know like the hours wise. How long does it go on for? Like, do they get kicked out when the bar closes? Do bars still close at 2 a.m.? Is it different in every state? Yeah, we owe you Bill Cooper, ends in 69. Yeah, frankly, won't call a phone number that doesn't end in 69, so I had to use that one. None of the other phone numbers had a 69 option in them. John Rogers is saying, I have the chrome steering wheel when I had my Camaro in high school. It has a Playboy steering wheel cover I bought from Western Auto, but the print is gone now. LOL. That's cool. So, oh, okay, so a guy in a chef hat standing over some regular charcoal grilling stuff for, I don't know how they set that up. I worked at a place once and we had to cater an event, and I thought they knew what they were doing, but they didn't. So it was kind of a wreck that could have gone better. So I would never organize food for other people again. They didn't know what they were doing. It was their job. I'm like the newest person there. I'm following you guys. You don't know what you're doing. Just Jenna said, still no birdies on the fountain. That's all right. They're almost done working for the day. They'll be over there. Now, I don't know if I ever brought this up before. I guess I don't know if the show still airs, 90 Day Fiance. I was probably watching it about 10 years ago or so, just give or take. I haven't watched it in a while. If it still comes on, but they're always, of course, like the whole premise of it is kind of sad, but like they're also kind of funny and a, pathetic sort of a, I don't know, second hand embarrassment. Like you think your dating life is bad, but then you see what these people are doing, and you're like, you know what? It's okay. I'm not using dating apps. I'm not one of these folks on this show, so it's makes you feel better about yourself. One of these, I don't know if this was like one of the more like famous couples that was on. It kind of seemed like at the time folks might have known who these people were. I don't know their names, but it was um the guy was younger, like maybe like early 20s, and he was from like I don't know, like Iraq somewhere in that Arabic part of the world. But like he spoke English and all that kind of stuff. But the lady he came over here for, she was again, this guy's early 20s. This chick was like maybe like early 40s, like had children that were like in their 20s, of a certain size, with the fake red hair, just so happened to live in Norwalk, Ohio. I was like, ooh, I don't like. I know that town is close. I've never been there. Oh, we owe you Bill Cooper. Oh, it's not picking up for me. Try it again. I don't know why it's hanging up. Now it's showing me missed calls. I'm not good at talking on the phone either, so. Oh, you're in Canada? Well, it still lets it come through. Can I don't know. Let me ask my search engine. Can Google Voice take calls from Canada? Uh, it says it's possible. I didn't realize you were in Canada. Maybe it'll let me call you. I can call you back. Uh, uh, Let me just leave it open here for a couple of minutes. I don't want it to melt. That's weird. Jenna said, "Oh, here we go. Is that it? It just shows me missed call. Why? Let me call you. Hold on. Let me see if that what happens. It says it's calling. Hello. This is Nikki. Who is this? Oh, cool. Let me turn up the volume here. Can you hear me?
I certainly can.
Okay, great. I can hear you.
Oh, good. I was
Awesome.
thinking, how communist has Canada gotten that we can't even call out of the country now? What's going on?
We're right next door.
Right? Shouldn't even really be a long distance call, really, North America. But anyway,
Right. It still touches. It's not like Mexico.
right? That's right. Yeah, my laptop just died too. That's my own fault for keeping it plugged in with the battery still in it.
Ah.
ruined them.
That's everybody's asking. This is We Owe You Bill Cooper. He's over in from the Twitch chat room. He's a Frankly.
Yeah, I squat in Frank's Twitch chat room. There's like a half dozen of us left over there from. It was close to 1,000, I think, when I started watching Frank. I started watching him there, and now there's maybe a half dozen of us, I think.
When did you? How long have you been at Frankly over there?
Um, Maybe 3.5 years. Not overly long.
That's
I'd
not
say
bad.
it's probably been around that.
That's cool.
Yeah, not too bad. And I mean, it's been interesting. I don't usually watch things like Frank's show. Not that I wouldn't be interested, but I don't look for those things. But she's not on there anymore. But he'd have Amazing Polly on there every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, I remember
And
her.
yeah, and I would watch her. And she had brought up Frank a couple of times. And she seemed to like him, and it sounded really interesting. But I never checked him out. And then there was I don't remember exactly when it was, but she was going to be on a show, and that's the first show that I watched.
Oh,
And I kept watching, but I wasn't in the chat. I could see the chat, but I wasn't in the chat for 6 or 7 months actually before I started interacting, I guess.
that is awesome. I wish I could gauge in my head because I know we were on Twitch and then we had to hop off. Then Frank was back on Twitch, but then he's had to stop doing that just in October.
Okay, yep. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it's right odd. Now, like I say squatter, that's kind of how it feels, right? Because you can't watch the show there, but the people that are there, there isn't one other platform that works for what's left of us. I watch the show on Pilled,
Yeah.
but I'm in the Twitch chat room, whereas a lot of people they went to Rumble,
Yeah.
YouTube, but it's like a shell of its former self, truly. And I mean, and he had warned us. I actually thought Frank did us a favor because he had warned us that he was going to do that, and then we had a moderator that died, and Frank kept the Twitch chat open for a year afterwards, and he had already made plans to like shut it down and just use it for games and things like that. But he kept us together for a while after it, so I really, it was pretty cool.
I do love that folks still gather over on Twitch because that's where I don't know why, but that's where Flat Albert preferred to watch it, and then folks over there are still to this day shouting him out. So he's still with us.
Yeah, definitely, and he was a regular caller, definitely a Frankly, like he loved that show and knew, like he had really some interesting things. I learned more about Frank's show on another Twitch channel that Albert and a handful of other people in Frank's Twitch chat would check out a guy. He doesn't do, he does like drumming and stuff like that, and he'll do music and play along to it. Rockman Drums, not to just drop another channel out there, but he doesn't do like what you do, okay?
Yeah.
But I'd go there. They kept asking me to go over there and check him out because we'd talk music in Frank's chat room or just other things, and I'm really slow at getting around to things sometimes when I've got a bunch of other things going on.
Yeah.
And when I finally got over to Rockman's channel, and we talked more about, I learned more about Frank's show there than I really did in the chat room. And some of the things, like they were all like kind of OG Franklys, right? Like weren't all moderators, but they'd all been watching Frank for a crap ton of time, and I just showed up, right?
Yeah.
So it was really interesting because I didn't know much about it, and I didn't kind of know like Frank, I guess, like Sasquatch type stories, or
Yeah.
people either whether it was a sighting or someone's actually trying to hunt them, or UFOs are just, not necessarily, you don't have to believe it or not believe it, but he's got an interest in it, right? And I like that stuff. I give people a chance, when they're telling me something. I don't necessarily have to believe it or even necessarily believe it immediately. Maybe I need to ponder it a bit, but I'll give people a chance, and that's kind of what really kept me going back to Frank, I guess.
He does get you thinking, even if it's about something you kind of don't care about or you wouldn't have thought about unless he brought it up. But then you're like, hey, maybe I should, think about this again. Maybe he's got something to what he's saying.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting, right? Like it's not the same guest. It's not the same anything most times.
It's unpredictable. I like that. You can't go in there expecting to have a certain kind of show or a certain kind of experience because I maybe you can, but I learned to stop doing that real quick because you're just gonna set yourself up for disappointment and just dive in, blind and just have a good time. That's the only way to do it.
Your volume's getting lower. Maybe it's my phone.
I don't know. Is it I'm trying to
Oh,
hold
there
my
we go.
phone up to the microphone
Oh,
here. I know I kind of cut off King 40's last call. I didn't realize where the microphone was. I think I'm doing better this.
right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on a landline, and it's cordless, and it's probably 20 years old too. So it might not be helping the connection much either.
Oh.
So
That's
you've been watching Frank for a while. I've been interested. How did you end up moderating for Frank? That's always been a question for me. Like I understand. Like I asked Albert. I asked a couple of different people, but I've always been interested where I'm talking to you now, I guess.
yeah. No, it was
Were
just
you asked?
no, it was because when I started, it was a small. It was like 5 people. It was kind of like the way Twitch is now. It was just maybe like 5 people. Like 10 was a crowd, and then after about a year or so, the channel had just gotten big enough that he needed moderators. And I was just one of the people who was always there, and I was never like cutting up or arguing or spamming or trolling, and I never missed many shows. So Frank knew I was reliable, so he made me and a few other people moderators. Um, just kind of I was suited for the job, so I just stepped into the role, and it was things I was sort of looking out for anyway. But now I kind of had more authority to put my foot down. But you really don't have to be that heavy handed with it. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and you're kind of you seem even keeled. Like you can take a few before it's really going to be like, all right, that's enough. Like
yeah, you got to let people. Sometimes somebody has a bad day, let them get it out of their system. But if it's 45 minutes, it's like, oh, okay, now you're not just blowing off steam. You're on a mission to piss people off. Like
that's a long time to be a moderator too.
it was honestly, I want to say May of 2016 when I became a moderator. But I've been going to the show since. Well, my first show was, Anthony Vincent went live on January 5th, 2015, and then January 6th, 2015 was my first Zadalza.
Did they know that you do a show on YouTube now? By they, I mean like Frank
Well,
or
Frank's mom
Anthony.
has come to my shows before, and then I did mention to Frank that I was going to be starting to upload about back in what was it? Not this last March, but the March before. I called in and mentioned it, but that's I think that's it.
Cool if they gave you a call.
I don't know. I don't know what Frank does at this time of day. I don't know if
Well,
he's
yeah,
like
I
eating
don't mean like
dinner or like is he like
yeah,
out with
yeah.
his I just don't know.
Yeah, it'd just be kind of neat though, where you've been a moderator for him for so long and all. I mean,
He did
just
say,
be
because
kind of
I do have to talk about the chat room from the old days, and when I do talk about Frank, I was going to let him know about that. So like after the fact, I'll let him know that I've put that information out. It would be weird if he just like showed up to a live show, but um, I don't know. I don't expect him to show up or anything like that.
No, but it'd be neat. It'd surprise you, I'm sure, right?
It would. It would be at a time when I would be like talking about him anyway, and then I'd look up and be like, oh, that there's that's the guy. You know Frank, right? Super awkward.
Yeah, I had. This was before my time. I wanted to ask you this too, if you remember this. One of the first stories that somebody told me about Frank's show. Um, uh, he was telling me that Frank used to take Zoom calls,
Yeah.
and there was someone that started masturbating. Do you remember that?
Oh, I don't know if anybody was
And
like
then the
fapping
guy
on the
called
phone.
back. Then the guy called back, and Frank thought he was gonna apologize, maybe, or something, like being good-hearted, thinking. And then so he picked up again, like the same guy, and he kind of did it again. Do you remember that?
I don't recall that. No. Um,
I'm
unless it
not saying
was.
I didn't.
Oh.
Like, I thought that was fucking hilarious. Sorry, dropping the F bomb, Nikki.
That's okay. Yeah,
I thought
you can swear.
I thought that was hilarious. Like, I would have loved. Like, I would try to find that show because, like I say, I didn't know a lot about. I'd only been watching Frank for a few months. When I'm reading this story, and I'm just laughing my ass off because I'm kind of getting that vibe that Frank's kind of like, a good-hearted kind of a fella.
Yeah.
So to think that, oh, this guy's calling me back to apologize, like most people probably wouldn't, and they wouldn't pick up again, right? Like,
He called in right before
so,
he was gonna finish.
oh my god, right?
You know what? Unless
Oh
that
man.
happened during, because there was a time when I did have to work second shift, so I did end up missing more shows than I cared to. Like it could have happened back then, so like 2017, 2018.
And would they archive? Would he archive? Would that even be out there? Like, if I was having a look, like that's pretty far back. He wouldn't still have shows.
It depends, because a while years ago he had to go and delete almost everything off of his channel just to get YouTube
Yeah,
to like, like put him out there a little bit more. So like when I was at the studio, that episode's gone. Like he might still have them, they're just not available on YouTube.
yeah. I remember you mentioning that. Um,
You know what?
yeah, just be,
If you can call into quite frankly, ask Frank because Frank has a memory. He might remember that.
yeah. He's pretty good with his own show, isn't he? Like, he has a minute or two. He can really come out with.
Like Frank will take a call from somebody and remember, like they'll use a fake name, and Frank will remember their real name, and they haven't called in for 6 years. It's the wildest thing that man has a memory like a normal person.
Yeah, that's pretty good. My my problem with names is I spent most of my life calling people man instead of calling even a woman, right? Instead of calling them their actual name. That does not help you remember names, and it doesn't bring about a good habit on it either. So I could talk to or just meet somebody, like you could just tell me your name. I could be talking with you for about 5 minutes. I'll say, call you man 2 or 3 times in 5 minutes, and then I'm trying to think of what that's it's an awful hole to put yourself in.
That's why I do the nickname thing. I think because I'm so bad with names.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I've only ever called Frank's show once. Like, this is only my second call to anything.
Wow.
Yeah, well, for me it is. Like, I'm very, I don't like having to use. I'd rather tell you my name so we could talk instead of the handle, right? But I've stuck my neck out kind of far for me. This is like different for me, but I mean, like, I like your show. Like, I find it very interesting. You got to be an interesting person to keep people's attention when you're reviewing a show that most people have seen most of just the week before. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it isn't just that people like watching Frank's show. Like we have that in common for sure. But I mean, like obviously, you've got some personality to you where you make it interesting. I mean, like you're talking about things I don't catch every show, but and I have a good laugh or whatever. But you're talking about things that I can recall, and I watched it 2 nights ago or whenever it may be. But I mean, like I'm usually there for your 2 hours. Like you keep me
Oh,
right
oh, thank you. Yeah, I just I never know why people want to tune in, but then I watch my own show back and I'm entertained and it kind of gives me little energy
there.
boost. So I figure maybe that's why other
That's
folks like
awesome.
it.
Right? Yeah, you're keeping your own attention. That's great.
Yeah.
Zipping through it. I remember this part and, skipping ahead 5 minutes. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
I'm
great.
not going to keep you. I'm probably keeping you too long.
I don't want to keep you on the phone too long either, but I'm so glad you did call in. And I mean, you can call in anytime. There's really, since I'm not doing movie reviews, you can really just call in anytime and shoot the breeze.
You're not doing them. You're not going to do them period, or you're not doing them lately,
At
or
this time, just because I can't concentrate to watch a whole movie, and it like the
right?
last film I watched, it took me 4 days, so everything just gotten a lot slower because of my mental health. So,
Yeah.
I want to do them again. I miss it so bad. I miss it so bad.
Yeah, I've got. I don't remember if you took requests for those, but if you start doing movies again, I'm gonna call in and then request one
Yeah,
because
it'll
I've
be
got one.
free movies. So as long as it's a free movie on YouTube or something on Tubi or Pluto TV.
What about like a spot like archive.org? Would you watch a movie like as long as it's free? Like they have a lot of movies.
Well,
If
it's
I
the
found
fact
it on
that
something like that,
it's harder for other people to get to, and then something like that. If I can't watch it on my TV, I'm just not going to watch it. I'll be honest with you. It's too hard on my eyes to
okay,
watch on my laptop. So that's why I try to
all
pick
right,
something from a free source so everybody can access it easily.
okay. And it's hard to tell who's got what because some people have the rights to some movies,
Yeah.
and you don't know. It's hard to tell what's going to be free and what isn't.
And then streaming services, they might have a movie for a month and then it's gone. So you just have to watch it by like the 30th or the 31st, or you're just SOL. So that's why we can't
Right.
say, I couldn't tell people to watch The Edge because they're not going to have it on Tubi until November. So it doesn't do any good now.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, well I'll keep it in mind anyway. If I can find it free, then I'll keep it in mind. Because
Yeah,
I don't
thank
know if
you.
you have a particular genre or whatever. Or maybe you don't like horror movies. I'm not a huge fan, but this one's
I
more
don't
like
like those movies that Frank sits and watches with those Christmas and July Hallmark stuff. But
it's funny that you mentioned that because I was looking through a guide on the TV today, and I don't know what it wasn't a Hallmark channel. It had a W, so whatever that stands for. Is that a women's channel? Am I being sexist? What the W
something.
stands for? But it had all kinds of Christmas in July type themes, so it must have
Oh
been Hallmark.
no, send it to Frank.
I can imagine. That's got to be a tradition, Like you must have been born into that or something. I don't know.
It sounds like
Hallmark
they do
movies.
it every year and there's no stopping
Yeah, that's good. That is fun. Like it just, it almost seems like punishment. I'd be doing a lot of social butterflying, I guess,
As long as they're
with the
having
movie as white
fun.
noise in the background. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm glad
All
you
right,
called
Nikki. It's
up.
talking with you. Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I'll know if you enjoyed it the next time. You'll see that area code and you'll be like, I'm not picking
Yeah, I'm
it.
thinking that's not a state. It's another
Oh,
country. Okay, yeah, my bad.
yeah, Kanakistan. That's us.
That's all right. Well, yeah,
All right.
thanks for calling in again. I'll talk to you the next time.
Sounds very good. Have a great evening.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't cut him off. I really hope the audio came through. Thanks, We Owe You, Bill Cooper, for calling in. I'm sweating so much it was getting into my eyes and making them sting. Sorry about that, but I'm so glad he called in. It's been a while. He wanted to like months before, and he just couldn't. So I'm glad he got through. But yeah, that's We Owe You, Bill Cooper from over on the Twitch chat room. Do I have? Okay, here we go. And I saw everybody chat, and I just couldn't comment. Jenna said, "I'm saddened to see Frank doesn't appear on here from time to time." King 40 said, "Nixter is good people." Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't remember the guy spanking it. I think I would have remembered that call even if it happened a while ago. Jenna said, "I used to chat with Albert and his wife on Discord." Yeah, we all used to chat with Albert and Lisa on Discord back in the Discord days. So I think that ended in like 2018, 2019. We were in there. Yeah, John Rogers says he stays in the YouTube chat, but he has good friends on D Live. Oh, oh, Dandy said, "And Nikki adds that second layer to Frank's show." Oh, thank you. Oh, Dandy said, "I met someone named Zoran, Xoran. It took me forever to remember how to pronounce it." Yeah, if you see an X at the start of a name, it's pronounced like a Z. So you can tell when someone is illiterate because I've heard way too often people talk about, oh, they know somebody named Xavier. Xavier. It's not like an X-ray. That's Xavier. But somehow, some way, this person who's older than me doesn't know English. And please don't tell me that the parents named the child that and pronounce it that way, because you just named your child after a word you can't pronounce. I just sweat balls when I'm on the phone too. I'm so anytime I gotta talk on the phone, I just get so nervous. Like maybe that's why I was so bad at my last job, but I can talk, but then when there's another person involved, it becomes a wreck. Dandy said, I had to watch General Hospital when my mom was in the nursing home. It was fun to watch it together. I watched General Hospital. Sometimes it makes it easier if you're watching like a lame movie by yourself. You just, but if you have like a friend with you or somebody else there, it makes it more tolerable. Then you can laugh at it. Maybe it's like that when you just, or like, did you ever sit down to watch a movie you thought was going to be good, then it just starts going downhill, so you just make fun of it. But then you got somebody else there. Maybe it's like that. Lisa, my nephew named his boy Alec Xander. On purpose? Like, does he get that it's a joke? Does he want the child to go and on the stage? Because that very much comes off like a stage name. That's a comedian's handle. That's way too much. It's one thing to want your child to grow up to be a doctor, but if you want them to grow up to be a comedian, they have to actually be good at their job. King 40, the colors emphasize the X, LOL. Actually, the guy I heard saying it, he was my boss, but he was gay. And the only reason I know that, this is why if you're a boss at a place and they let the employees wear shorts, don't wear shorts. Because my boss wore shorts and I could see his ankle tattoo. And fellas, if you have an ankle tattoo, you are a homosexual. I mean, my gay best friend had an ankle tattoo, so... Lisa, the boy is redhead too? Oh, jeez. Is he left-handed? He better be so funny. He's like 2 years old, and the kids are like cracking up. But anyway, 90 Day Fiance. This was, I think this might have been sort of a big deal. Maybe this was the first couple to like get divorced, and it was kind of a big thing. But they did. They had to get divorced. It was not working out. and the guy is testifying, talking about, yeah, so I would be at this woman's house while she still had her, like 20-year-old daughter living with her, and there's the mom in the bedroom screaming for the guy to come in there and fuck her while the whole house could hear her daughter and everything. And so, yeah, he had to get out of there. And I think they ended up did get a divorce, but the thing was they had to go to court, of course, and they show our courthouse. And again, I don't know Norwalk that well. I mean, I've been there, but I couldn't tell you where, like, how to get to places, shops in the town, nothing like that. But the courthouse they showed, I'm like, that's not Norwalk, that's Sandusky, that's downtown. It was just at a angle I really never looked at the building at. I'm like, ew, they're in my city. Ew. Like, I don't really care for this town that much, but it's like, ew, they're close to be gross. But the funny one I want to talk about is this lady who gets with this guy. She's American, he's Dutch. She's in her mid 30s, he's early to mid 20s. So they show her, and she just wants to wear her like her high heels and just be all glammed up with the hair and the makeup. She had really long fingernails, but she always wore a nude color on her nails. She never once wore color on her fingernails. That's if you're gonna go through all that work to get your nails done, like at least get a French tip. Just don't make it look like you have longer fingers. It's the same color. It's so gross. So she was not that glam. And then you jump over to this Dutch dude. The Dutch are very active, full stop. Like you're never gonna see, if you see somebody overweight, it's just like 10, 15 pounds at the most. I shit you not. Everybody rides bikes. The oldest old person you ever saw is on a bike. Children are on bikes. So here's this guy, like he's biking, he's doing physical stuff, he's out with his friends, he's going to have a good time. I don't know why these two hooked up, but she goes to meet him in the Netherlands. They really only have one airport, Schiphol, and it smells like pot. So she lands over there and she wants to make an impression. So this dumb bitch is wearing her red bottom plat or high heeled shoes, Louboutins, in the airport, traveling in these shoes. It's a 6.5 hour flight across the pond. Then she lands in Schiphol, steps on one of the escalators, gets her heel stuck in it, breaks it. I mean, everything has to stop. Like maintenance people have to come out. She's standing there in one shoe, thinking she's too cute. Now imagine you're going to meet somebody, and you have to meet the girl who broke the equipment at the airport, and she's just standing there thinking she's so cute, and there's dude there to meet her. So right away, they're off to a bad start. If I was that dude, I would have just turned around and left. But they're hanging out together, and it's very clear that they're in. If you couldn't tell from the intros and they weren't near each other, it's painfully obvious now. She just wants to lay around the apartment and chill and just have, like you got to have the hair perfectly straight and the makeup all, and just never move, never sweat, just, be just prone, done up. And he wants to go out and do stuff and biking and all this kind of everything, and they just clash so hard. Like, no. Right off the bat, you're traveling in shoes like that. And like by the end of it, I don't. She was so happy to leave. He was so happy to get rid of her. You could tell, like, just a guy in his mid-20s is not ready to settle down. What the hell is he doing? Trying to marry anybody at that? I don't know how that even got together, but it was just a giant no. And if you're breaking the airport, woman, how embarrassing is that? No. So yeah, that was not happening. That was too funny. The other funny one was there was this guy, American, and he had met this She must have been Brazilian because she spoke Portuguese, but he did not speak Portuguese and she did not speak English. So the only way they could communicate with each other was with like like the translator app. You speak into it and it'll say the words or show the words. That's it. So this guy decides he doesn't really have a job or anything, and I think the girl maybe just like still lived at home because she's like early 20s and he's probably in his 30s. He wants to bring all this stuff down there with him. And like, while that would be fine, okay, just bring a bunch of luggage. It's not like he can just take a direct airport and just like drive to her house. This is Brazil. There's not a direct road all the way through Brazil. You can't just drive down to Argentina and come back up. It's not set up that way. So, and this man just brings it's not even luggage. It has no wheels on it. It has no handles on it. It's just like these three giant boxes, maybe like 2 foot tall, 3 or 4 foot wide. You did no kind of marking on it to indicate it was luggage, and it just I don't know, taped up or something like that. How is this one single man gonna move these about by himself? Anyway, that's his luggage, so he gets it down there. And since it doesn't look like luggage, it's suspicious as fuck. So there's the authorities, they're on their radios, they're making phone calls, and they got their like sniffing dogs and their chemicals and their lights and all this stuff. Okay, they realize that it's not explosives, it's nothing shady, and whatever, they leave him alone. So this guy's just stuck with these three giant friggin' boxes. There's nowhere to rent a car, and this woman lives like way far down, but like in the bush somewhere. Huge hassle. Like finally gets there, finally gets to see her. Like they can hug and smile at each other, but then they got to whip out their phones and like talk to each other through that. It's like, you know what? I'm doing okay. I don't think my dating life is quite that bad. Jenna said, anyone else remember when Frank hit the milestone of 1,000 listeners on YouTube? Big celebration when he did. LOL. When was that? John Rogers, someone outside is smoking weed. LMAO. They did that last night. I swear it was like midnight or 12:30. It smelled like somebody was smoking a blunt because like you also got that like that whiff of fruitiness with the weed smoke blowing by. And then of course it's a woman, can't handle her smoke. Cough, 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 hack, hack, hack. Didn't hear any kind of man around. Jenna said he had 32K when I started to watch. Oh, late 2018 or so. So 2018, 1K viewers on YouTube for Frank. Or maybe before, Okay. It's cute when people still show up. They're like, wow, Frank, congratulations on 102,000 subscribers. I'm thinking, yeah, it's crazy how that happened. It's because he had that week off for it was right around his daughter's birthday. He had gotten, like a strike on YouTube. So we were over on Rumble for a week, come back over, then he was at 100K subs. And then this last October when he took a week off, come back and suddenly there's an extra, the 100 went to 102 and that's where it sits. So I'm expecting this next October when he takes his time off to look for Bigfoot. When he comes back, then we'll see his sub count go up. So it just increases once a year. Oh, B-Chap's back. Glad you made it. Oh, damn, John Rogers says that, talking to me, you're not far from the shooting on Farwell Street last night. Okay, so there was a shooting. I know Farwell isn't that far from me, I think. Where's Farwell? That sounds... Good thing I don't go outside. Street? East. Sure, why not? Oh, that's where it is. Yeah. Where's the McDonald's at? Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, folks be shooting. Now, why is it not? It's like it's not letting calls through. King 40, did you call? I don't know why it's not. I don't know. Maybe I said something. Hold on, let me. Lisa Gray said, have to skedaddle. Good to see you, Nikki and gang. Be well, everyone. Yeah, thanks for stopping in. Take it easy. Jenna said, I'd love to see Frank and his daughter do the intermissions, but that's just me, lol. I wonder if there's, I don't know what he would do, like have her say something. Oh, John Rogers, Sandusky Register had an article. All right. Yeah, I don't know any. I don't even keep up with current events in this town, so that's news to me. I'd have never known if he didn't say anything. I'll drive around this town. If I have to drive down one extra street that I don't usually drive down, it's all changed. So I'm looking around like I'm not even from here. Like, oh, we've got one of those now. Wait, didn't that used to be? And oh, that's closed. And oh, we're getting to that. And or they fighting over who was gonna like hold the Roman candles, and then one guy just shot the other. Um, I'll call you. Hold on. I don't know why this is not coming through. Here, I'll call you. Hold on. Oh, Wally World, glad you made it. Oh, I just got back from taking Arden out for her birthday. Nice. Happy birthday to her. Hello. Hey, King 40.
Next up.
What's up?
How are you tonight?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. You know, you jogged my memory there when you was talking about the show she's watching, and the Brazilian guy with the Portuguese and can't speak English.
Yeah.
And only communicating through the phone. Now, this is a true fucking story here, right?
Yeah.
So one day of a night shift, right? Now, I'm not the boss, but I kind of try to be because I'm led by incompetence, but I digress. So, like, the floor cleaner is one of them people. I'm pretty sure it's the Portuguese thing there. And the guy don't even speak a lick of English. And when you try to talk to him, he holds up his phone to your face. And I'm like, get that fucking shit out of my fucking face, you. So there was like one fucking night, he's fucking up, he breaks shit, I'm fucking yelling at him, and I'm trying to talk to him, and speaking, and he holds up the phone. I'm like, put the fucking phone down. I don't want your fucking phone. You either talk English, or you get the fuck out. I'm like, why are we putting up with this shit? And my boss is like, dude, you can't do that. I'm like, I just did. What are you talking about? Why do you put up with this crap? So, like, the floor guy is trying to talk to me, and it's all in Portuguese, and I'm like, stop talking that shit.
Right. You're an American.
I don't talk that shit. Yeah, I'm like, I don't talk that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. And don't ever put your fucking phone in my face again. And my boy was like, this is shit you should be doing, not me.
Right.
You, for lack of a better word, triggered me when you were talking about that TV show, because I'm like, oh my God, I dealt with that in real life.
I had to deal with that in an old job, but it was nothing but foreigners. And it's, if you're going to go there, learn the language or shut up.
Or go back home.
Right. That's all that is to it. I mean, I've been out of the country. Other people should get with it.
Thank you, baby.
That's all it is.
That's all I really had for your show. I just wanted to call in and share that with you because you talking about the show you watched reminded me of something that happened at work.
Yeah.
And the guy's literally, I'm trying to communicate with the guy, and he's holding his phone up to my face. Like, get that fucking thing out of my fucking face.
Right. Spend more time
I'm not
learning your
catering to you. Yeah, you know what I mean? If you can't talk to me in the language of this country, then you don't belong here.
Yep. I feel the same way.
All right, Nixon. Thank you for taking my call. You have a great night, and you always do a great show.
Oh, thanks so much for calling in.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. Bye-bye. I don't want to hang up on anybody. Oh, thank you, King 40, for calling in. Yeah, that's some bullshit, though. Because I told you I worked at the hotel, and we had, like, they, went out of their way to hire people from, outside of the country, cheaper labor. So all I heard was people would complain, like, man, the food was better when they had Mexicans in the kitchen. I guess they had to get rid of them a couple of years prior to that. So folks didn't like that. But we would have a lot of folks, like just ordering food and, just you talking to your phone or you type and then it turns it into, what they're saying. I mean, like, that's fine for little conversations, but if you get a job somewhere, you need to know the language they speak there to do that job. And, you wouldn't let an American go in there and, break stuff all the time and let them continue to work there. So you don't get the stupid excuse. Yeah, happy birthday to Arden. That is cool. I was after it was John Volt's birthday. I'm like, wait, I know Arden's birthday's in July. But yeah, I had a feeling it was coming up soon. That's cool. Oh, John Rogers said I saw it on the Erie County Uncensored on Facebook first. Yeah, that's sad. If you want to know stuff about going on in your town, follow it on Facebook instead of waiting for the newspaper. You get the information faster. Like when I went to the Netherlands, I already knew that if you don't know this, like they make people in Europe learn English way earlier than we get to learn other language. Like we got the option to learn languages in high school. They have to start learning in like middle school, something like that. So my thinking was if I had to ask somebody a question, look for a person who's in their like 20s because for a fact they had to learn English in school, so they're basically going to understand you. Because I have tried to learn Dutch, and it was just like some of it sticks and some of it slips away, and then if you don't use it, you lose it, and all that kind of a thing. But so if I knew if I had to ask somebody, that was a person to ask. And I was just mostly like when I went to McDonald's, I could order in English. It was fine. They're very cool with the tourism there. But it's a little bit different in America. We speak English here. Maybe in the South it's more Spanish, but this part of the country was never Spanish. And even George Washington said, you speak the language that's native to the people that you're around. If you're kicking it with a group of Germans and you know German, okay, speak German. If you're hanging out with a bunch of Australians, okay, maybe use your Aussie accent, but... Jenna said, my friend makes fun of the Italian restaurant near me. They have Mexican cooks, LOL. Yeah, that's authentic Italian. I didn't know they had chimichangas in Italy, but all right. Dandy, yeah, another cancer. Jenna said, my co-workers and workers in Belgium speak Dutch, German, English, and French. You kind of have to. There's so many countries in Europe where, like, they love like two or three native languages, and it's just because it's those are the countries that they all happen to touch. It's kind of cute, but it's like, well, why does this country have a native language? Oh, well, they speak, like Austrians, or they'll speak German. I don't know if there's like an actual, maybe there's like a specific dialect of, let's say, German that's specific to Austria. I don't know what that is. I know I have heard this that, of course, Germany speaks German, but if you go down to the south in Bavaria, they do still speak German. It's just a few little tweaks on it. Jenna said I envy their ability to speak those languages. Like those are a little bit similar, like German and Dutch, very similar. English is like a cousin. I don't know about French though, man. I don't know about that. I'd have to sit there and study that. You can't learn English or wait, you can't learn Spanish and skim Italian. I mean, you can, but you can't do that with French. Because I did take a year of Spanish and do well in it. I can read Italian. I was reading this article and I'm like, why do I understand most of this? Cool. Can't speak Italian. It does seem fun to speak. I would like to learn it. Don't know any Italians. I have no plans to go to Italy, but it seems fun to speak. Jenny, yeah, French is pretty. I would like to learn French just so I don't butcher it, so I can say the names of wines and things. Then, like, check out somebody like Viggo Mortensen, where he's over there speaking like Norwegian and Swedish, and like basically all those languages up there that are sort of similar. And he just has a way with some people are better at learning languages too. It's like, oh, I just speak six languages like it's nothing. Like what? I only speak English correctly about 75% of the time, and what? French is so just extra. You have all these extra letters that you don't even say. But like the city, Marseille, has all kinds of extra letters at the end. You wouldn't even know. Jenna said, which is harder, German or Russian? I would think it's Russian just because as English speakers, we're not used to seeing that Cyrillic writing, so that might immediately like that's what kind of scares me with Russian right away. It's like, wait, there's a regular R and a backwards R? Hold on, hold on. If Russian, I don't know. I kind of would like to learn Polish because, like, as sort of intimidating as it is to see written down, to hear it spoken, like some of the words are kind of cute, or like that ski at the end, like that's a real thing. It's kind of funny, not like funny like making fun of funny, just like funny cute. Yeah, I don't know about Russian. I wouldn't have any Russians to speak it to. I don't know if I don't even drink vodka anymore. I don't know what I would do with Russian. But if you learn German, you can just watch all those World War II movies and not use the subtitles. It would be great. I thinking back, I should have learned taken German in high school instead of Spanish. That I would have been better at Dutch, but you can't go back. But again, like I was saying with German, it does seem like there are just a handful of little switches you have to make where if you know where to look, you'll be able to understand it, pick it up, or like at least know what you're seeing. Like it's one thing to learn a language enough to just be able to say identify it for yourself. Like that's great. It's a completely other step when you want to learn it well enough to be able to like speak it to those people. I don't know if I can quite get that far. I want to know enough to just be able to recognize it myself. I think it would be like it would be embarrassing for me to speak German to a German speaker because I'm sure it would have a terrible English accent at it. I can say Scheisse, but that's because it's a song. Dandy, I just painted one of my bedrooms French gray, LOL, beautiful deep blue with gray undertones. Ooh, nice. Jenna said I'm going to dip out and watch my bird fountain. Pray for birdies for me. Yeah, yeah, they gotta be showing up. It's almost time for them to punch out. Oh, Dandy did take German in high school. Nice. I didn't know I was gonna be watching so much World War II. I don't know. I think it was like German, Spanish, Italian, French maybe were the options. And it's I don't know how much you can gauge. You're like doing well in a class with Spanish versus because actual spoken Spanish is so fast. Why are you speaking so quickly? Calm the fuck down. That's the other thing I didn't like about Pan's Labyrinth. I had to watch it with subtitles. Like, yes, it was Spanish, but they speak it so quickly you can't even read the English that's on the screen. You have to go back. What is so important that they have to say it that quickly? It's Jay Gulanello doesn't. Jupiter Gulanello doesn't speak that quickly. It's like that one guy that I would watch play. Like he was, I liked his RimWorld videos from like 5 years ago, and the stuff he does now, it's just not any good. That guy's English, and he speaks very quickly, but since UK English, but since they're so articulate, they can't speak quickly, and you can understand what they're saying. Not, I'm not that good with Spanish, so like, no, you've got to slow that down. John Rogers, at this point, I'm glad I can still speak English. LOL. Yeah, same. Why am I getting worse at it? King 40, my oldest grandchild calls me Opa in, oh, German. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. Danny, we still had a Latin class back then? Oh, Latin would be cool. It seems like maybe I just should cut the bullshit and learn Latin so it'd be easier to learn other languages. Beach Chap said I learned a tiny bit of Italian in high school from an Italian woman. Just extremely basic Italian. That's all right. Just like that little bit of working knowledge is good. Like Jean-Francois Champollion, the guy who deciphered hieroglyphs, he taught himself all the languages he thought he would need to in order to decipher those hieroglyphs. So he went back and so he learned ancient Greek. He learned as much as we could about basically ancient Egyptian changed a bit when the Ptolemies came in. So, like, we had a little bit more knowledge about their way of speaking ancient Egyptian, but not the way it was spoken before the Ptolemies showed up. And as far as ancient Egypt goes, they did not show up until the very end, like past the New Kingdom. It's uh, original ancient Egyptian has no L, but later on they had to add one because of the Ptolemies. I think I've explained this before. That the lion symbol is a letter L. So there's a reason why you just don't see that anywhere, at least in the parts of ancient Egypt that I'm interested in. It's because they did not have a need for it. It didn't exist yet. B Chip said I learned a tiny bit of Italian in high school. Oh no, I just read that. Oh yeah, I actually only know how to ask name, answer, come te kame, or chame. I don't even know if I'm saying those words right. I'm not trying. I don't want to. I'm not pronouncing Italian words wrong on purpose. Their own personal life name inserted. Okay. King 40 said my family spoke Sicilian, which is basically a butchering of Italian. LOL. Gabagool. There, I speak Italian. Hey man, Italian subs are banging, dude. I haven't had one of those in over a year. Yeah, I messed up. I didn't realize because I'm not subscribed all the time to Matt Christensen. I only subscribe to his channel. You have to be subscribed to his channel to chat in his chat room when Frank's on. So I just subscribed that one day. So I didn't realize he was off last Wednesday. But this next week, and quite frankly, coming up, if we're finally going to get a full weekend, wow, that's going to feel different. But the Wednesday show, we go to Morning Sickness Matt Christensen, right after Quite Frankly. So it kind of feels like we get 2.5 hours in a good way. And then at the end of the week, Frank is doing a Saturday show on the 12th. So I will be live at 6:30 next Saturday. Let me go to Quite Frankly TV just to be sure. Make sure he hasn't changed it. Volume down, landscape mode. Because I just put it in my calendar. I'm not trying to go to this website all the time. But since I'm live, maybe I'll have something else funny on here. Okay, yeah. July 12th, 12th, yeah. Rumble only Saturday night, so that just means I'll be watching over in the Twitch chat room. And that's all it says. I don't know if he's going to have like a guest or anything like that, or if it's still up in the air. So it's a full Frankly week. Plus we get Matt Christensen on Wednesday. Plus Frank is doing a Saturday show. So we're getting a full week. And yeah, Frank was live earlier. Everybody went live earlier. Like Pickled Gamer was live. And then Frank was live. And I also dealing with the headache issue and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, what the hell? Everybody's going live the day after 4th of July. Andy says to King 40, my mom's side of the family is from Long Island. I was born there. Oh, cool, Long Island. That's where Thick Rick is. BChap United Kingdom consists of 4 different countries: Scotland, Ireland, Wales, along with Great Britain / England. Dandy says I still have a tiny bit of accent from my mom and grandma. Aw. Accents are cute. Like that was a. I didn't realize Bill Cooper was in Canada. Then like that little bit of a accent slips out. That's cute. I like that. Or something is like root and route, or like pop and soda. Just those little things to let you know like exactly what state somebody's in. Oh, I found out that on those Minecrafting channels, I think it's, yeah, Puff. He's in Pennsylvania. Why is everybody in Pennsylvania suddenly? It's so odd. It's the like I knew the Lore Lodge guy was there, but I didn't know where Puff was. And then he just, yeah, that just came up in a video. So yeah, like wow, why is everybody up in the same area, or so close? Or like Swaley's down in Texas, but he said I could figure out he's in the Central Time Zone, but then he said he was in Texas, so it's like, oh, I don't gotta figure it out. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, thank you to my equipment for staying together for 2 hours. Maybe that will become a thing. And thanks for to Wheel You Bill Cooper and King 40 for calling in. This was the first show I've had 2 different callers on the same show, so thanks for that. That's so cool. And do remember to smash the like button on your way out. YouTube digs that. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed. And the channel is up over 13K views, so thank you guys for that. That is a trip. Yeah, I do want to do the movie reviews, but the fact that it takes, will probably take me a whole week to sit through an episode, or to sit through like a 2.5 hour or like 2 hour, movie. It's just too rough, since I do, again, I do have to go through all of Dark Shadows and like the 80% of the show I watched, and redo it all on yellow paper. Still got to wrap my head around that. And then like the heat stops me from working, because it's hard to concentrate. So I've got just too much in my way to have fun. But like, I love doing the movie reviews. I miss it so much. I like being able to just sit here and talk about a film. King 41. I lived in Ohio for a year. That laughed at me for calling their pop soda LOL. Yeah, yeah, this is a that's why I call it soda, just to mess with locals, cuz people notice. People like you swore and like suck it. Like what? So folks notice. Danny, you done already? It goes by so fast. Beach Chap, haven't seen Pickle Gamer lately. I noticed he's been going live from his channel a lot. Um, I honestly think he's because it's earlier for him. He's in California, so earlier for him. So he'll be going live and maybe streaming for a few hours, and that'll start at maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock our time, and then he goes for like 2 or 3 hours. So like he's sort of just working at the same time as Frank. So he's still like alive and active. I don't think he just has time to come hang out in the chat room because he's working. But yeah, this was so much fun. The last two episodes have been great. I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Kind of feels like I'm sort of getting my shite together. Hopefully that's what it is. I just don't want to feel so sticky all the time. It just stops so much from getting done. So yeah, thank you guys for showing up and for being Franklies and being based and knowing English. It helps out. The more English you learn, the more fun it is. That's the fun of languages. Maybe that's what it's like to learn another language. Sorry for the phone issues. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's a setting. Maybe it's just Google. Maybe it's my bad luck. But yeah, don't forget your pants because you're going to need them all week. Daniel says, my dad was country, my mom was city. Nice. Yeah, have a great night. Yeah, have a great night, everyone. John Rogers says, yeah, good night to you. Take it easy, get some good sleep, get a good meal, stay hydrated. Oh, Beach Chef, I've heard I haven't heard anything good about the Emoji Movie. It sounds like they were using jokes that were old already in that film. You can't make a movie about the internet because things move too quickly and they don't know that. So like it was dated when it came out. Yeah, Beach Chef, catch you on the flip side. So yeah, we'll see you guys in a chat room. Yeah, don't watch any AI. No politicians are your friends. Have some steak. Oh, Jay, yeah, see ya. And till next time.